Hey, what's up for Life Without Pants with another Path of Exile video, and in today's video we're going to talk about the most recent science experiment that we ran. We previously had done 100 toxic sewer maps with Gilded Blight Scarabs and polished sulfite Scarabs and a polished Cartography Scarab, and somebody in the comments was asking, can anybody else confirm that Cartography Scarabs actually affect the blight chests when, you know, the number of blighted maps you get out of it? And I can say emphatically, yes it does. I'm not anyone else though, I'm the same person, but we ran another 100 of those maps. I ran it with Gilded Cartography Scarabs. We had polished Gilded Blight Scarabs as well, I don't have any left now. Polished sulfite and a sacrifice fragment, and we just chiseled and alked our maps like this. Oh, this one's bad for me. 70% avoid elemental ailments. And then chuck this in here. And we had a few other things as well. I got some costs down here. We went for generic monster pack size sextants. So those are the 16 uses, you know, include some extra monsters that deal physical or monsters that deal fire. We went for oils of 1 tier higher as well, because oils and the maps are not the same. They're separate things, they're separate loots. So I wanted to figure out if this was worth it. We'll get into that later. With Gilded Blight Scarabs, these are about 7C per in bulk. Gilded Cartography Scarabs around 6C. Sac frags are pretty much free at this point. Polished sulfite Scarabs are 2C each, and that's because of the Niko Tech. We'll go into that as well. Toxic sewer maps, chisels, alchemies. We basically ran in 27C per map invested. And this is what it looked like. We're not taking anything on the map device here. We're just running Eater of Worlds. And we got some pretty decent results. I'll just run you through a map real quick here. So we're going to go and find, oh, there's Cassia. We'll do that in a second. But I just want to go and find the Niko stuff so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to Niko Tech. It's a really, really useful thing to know. I didn't know it until this league. Another interesting thing I found out from doing this is that we actually got more blighted maps than regular maps. So we didn't actually find a huge amount of regular maps, even with the Gilded Scarabs. So when you click these voltaic sulfite veins here on our map, we've got mining byproducts. So sulfite veins and chests in your maps have 10% chance to also contain an equal amount of azurite. So when you click on this, sometimes it'll say 0 sulfite. It doesn't matter if this is full or not, but then it'll say, oh, plus 2,000 azurite. Maybe we'll get one here. Doesn't seem like we're going to. Yeah, we didn't, but it's a 10% chance, like I said. So we would just come in, run around, kill everything we can, and then do the Cassias as we find them. I would always leave the Cassias until the end, if possible. So you saw at the beginning, I avoided Cassias straight away, almost automatically, because that means that, you know, I have an opportunity to maybe go and see what the Eldritch Altars have on them. And this map doesn't really take us very long at all. It only takes like around, I think we were averaging around 1.5 minutes for the map, and then you know, Blight takes as long as Blight takes, usually about 1 minute, depending on how many lanes there are. But let's just skip ahead to, I'm just going to go and loot. We've got quite a few embers as well. So let's just go to Cassia, and then, I mean, I don't need to show you how this works. I think you all know how Blight works. I'm just going to skip ahead in time until this is done. All right, and the blight is over, and look at that. We've got a coral ring. You see that it's got this gold coloring on it because this actually has an oil inside it. It's got an anoint. So if we just use our price checking macro, so it says your stone gaze towers have 20% reduced petrification delay, and you can see here this is a gold and I think an azure anoint on this ring, and we can use if we get any oil extractors, which is something you get a lot if you choose the nodes on the blight tree. We'll take a look at our tree later on. Then you will find a bunch of them. Oh look, here we go, there's an oil extractor here. So basically I can use this oil extractor and I'll either get a gold or an azure oil, and we got a gold oil, so that's a pretty good way of getting a lot of money out of these. So we've got some underground sea maps here. We've got sometimes you get lucky and there's only one blight lane, and then it's all blight rewards, and sometimes you don't get lucky at all. So I found that on average you will get 2.7 blight maps per blight for one of these if you're doing if you have your tree set up like us. So we have everything blocked apart from Blight. We've got some map nodes for getting higher tier maps. We've not taken Spores in the Wind, but we've taken everything else here. We don't need the reduced cost of upgrading your towers or area contains Blight encounter. We're not looking for enchanted maps. We've got the Blight chance wheel here. We've got Lucky Blight chest and epidemiology. And then we've taken this wheel over here, so likelihood for Blight bosses to have additional rewards, etc. And the jewelry that you just saw drop there. Blight spawn, as well as the chance to contain blighted maps or oils. And we've also taken the Vivid Memories, the Synth map drop chance, the Elder Guardian and Shaper Guardian map drop chance, and the Conqueror Guardian map drop chance as well. And we've taken as many map drop duplication nodes as possible. And then we've got the Niko Tech here, and we've got another map sustain node over here. And then I also put these on here packed with energy. This means you, for each sulfite vein you boop, then you get +1 max Ellie res, 35% increased damage, and 15% increased move speed. And that means that you can go very fast by the end of the map, which is a really good reason to avoid casting until the very end. And you get +3 max Ellie res, which is really, really decent. Because that's, 3% increased Ellie res is 12% less elemental damage taken by the end of the map. So if we just go to Niko now, we're going to find out what the Niko Tech means. Because you get all that azurite, you can jump over to Niko in the azurite mine encampment, purchase items, and you can buy these primitive chaotic resonators. And these are currently 120 for a divine. And if you find... I think it's 1 in 3 maps, you'll get some azurite from the azurite veins, and it's you get around 10 of these. So it's around 1/12 of a divine every 3 maps. It's a really good sort of passive income strategy, and it only costs you a couple of points on the tree. It costs you 3 points, 5 points if you want to have the extra tankiness and move speed. Like the speed really helps, obviously, because you're going fast. So that's basically the strat we were following. Let's take a look at our results. Oh, I've got no more space probably for extra toxic sewer maps. Oh no, I do have a little bit of space. So we noted everything down. We got it all in Excellence Next over here. We got a lot of golden oils. We have all these jewels. I don't think anybody really cares about those. Notable things that we dropped. We got all the golden oils in here, and we have yet to extract the oils from all the other jewelry as well. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit in time. To when we do that. I'm just going to get rid of all these things because we don't need those anymore. Oh, no more room for underground sea maps. Notable things that we did get, we dropped an Einar's Memory of Crystal Prisons. So that's the Essence one. That's like 1.5 divines. That's not included in this. We've got Dragon's Heart as well. I discounted all cards. We got a Divine Beauty, we got an Enlighten, and we got one of these Voidborn Reliquary Keys, which are the new things. Now, advice to you, once a week, please update your loot filter. Please update your loot filter. Just go to Filterblade and just load it up, save it, and then go back in game and reload it. Because when these drop, if your loot filter is not updated, it will look like this. But obviously what it should look like is this. And it should make the shwing noise. So let's go and open this together. Let's find out what we get from this Voidborn Reliquary Key, because I think it's super important to find out. We're doing science here, science with a sample size of 1. So maybe we're going to get a Maze Blood. Or maybe not. Okay. Does it just open? Does it just boop it on the floor? Oh, I wonder what that could be. Difficult to know. It was a tabby. Okay, well, there we go. We got a tabby. So at least 20 fusings there. I guess I'll put that somewhere. But let's talk about the rest of our results. So we got all these golden oils and silver oils. We got a number of blighted maps. Now, I said before that the Gilded Cartography Scarabs do affect the number of blighted maps you get. Let's just go to the calculator real quick. So I said also 2.7 blighted maps per. So in previous experiments, we have done we got 270 with just Alkengo mapping. And so that's our baseline. Now, when we did the previous experiment, with 100 maps, which I'll link in the description below. We ran it with a polished Cartography Scarab, which gives you 35% increased amount of maps. So if we times this by 1.35, and we got 363 maps that time. So it comes out at 364.5. So that's pretty clear that the Scarabs work. But also, if you needed any more doubt, well, if you had any doubts still, we had 270 as a baseline, and then this time we used Gilded Cartography Scarabs, which will 50% increased number of maps. So that's 1.5, and we got 404 maps here, and it works out at 405. So I think this is pretty, I mean, these numbers are very close, like almost too close. But this is, really good. It's a good sample size, 100 maps, and I think this is very much indicative that the Scarabs absolutely do contribute to the amount of blighted maps you get. So if you're going to be running at the beginning of a league, a blighted map strat, then you've got to be using those Gilded Cartography Scarabs, or just polished ones, depending on how much, what the difference is in price. We dropped a ton of maps. We had, we also, because we had the big, the big boy nodes up here for synthesis maps and guardian maps and conqueror maps, we dropped 3 synthesis maps, and for my money, that's a 60C, 70C, something like that. That's not really worth 3 points over 100 maps. But obviously, you're waiting for a Cortex drop, which is like 1.5 div or something like that. We dropped 12 Conqueror maps, which is absolutely worth 3 points. That's like probably, outside of the Niko Tech, that's probably the best 3 points you can spend on your Atlas. But this is, if you've got all these duplication nodes and Cartography Scarabs. We dropped 10 Shaper and 5 Elder Guardian maps. We've got a few unique ones as well. But interestingly, we got more Blighted maps than we did regular maps combined, and unique maps, and Shaper Guardian maps, and Conqueror maps, which is like, it's pretty nutty. Here we have all the currency. We got like, a divine or so worth of stacked decks. Got lots of chaos, all the bubblegum currencies. We got around a divine or 2 maybe. I know 1 divine worth of awakened sextants and a lot of greater and grand eldritch embers. I put in all the chaotic resonators that we bought. There's easily 1.5 to 2 divines here in resonators. We got some, a little bit of essence money as well. We got some scarabs. For our notable things, we have 32 golden oils, and I think it was 74 it ended up as. Yeah, 74 silver oils. We've got a wing scarab. We got we got some grave binds. We've got a diadem dawn. We've got a Maloney's. We've got a corpse walker. So we got some T1 uniques. We had 3 raw divines drop, which is around average. It's around 1 in 33 maps. I think one of them was from a currency blight reward chest. We got 2 exalts. Most of these were, I think a lot of these were from shards from the blight currency chest as well. We got 1 in null. And again, some more shards and ancient orbs, a couple of eldritch embers, and some invitations. So obviously these I'm not counting because you can't count on getting a unique drop at all. But everything else is, I think this tab is largely just these bits. The right side of this tab is counted and the left side is not. So I'm just going to skip ahead into the future, and I am going to take a bunch of these oil extractors. I'm going to extract all the oils in these jewelries. These are all golden or silver oils. So if we just do this price check, so this is a silver and a purple, and this is double gold. So this one is likely to be a gold oil. There we go. So I'm just going to skip ahead into the future, and I'm going to take these out, and then we're going to find out what the total is. So I'll see you in a second. So for now that we've got all the golden oils out, then we can see here that, where's the notable things? We have 44 golden oils, we have 89 silver oils in total. This is pretty in line with what I would expect for having the oils drop 1 tier higher sextant. I'm not sure it's worth it though. For the amount of, the increased amount of blighted maps we found, I would expect the profits to be way higher, but the thing that eats into the costs a lot is the oils of 1 tier higher sextant, because that costs like 500C. And yeah, I think the next, if I'm going to do another science experiment like this, I think it's going to be Gilded Blight Scarabs, Gilded Cartography Scarabs, you know, these two things, and not using this, because I think you get a similar, well, more returns in general for what you put in, because we put in 27C per map, and this strat got us 105C per map in profit, and the previous strat got us, without the sextant, got us 103. So it's only 2C extra per map, and there's a lot of admin as well, having to remember to put on the sextant, because, you know, I'm using 16 use sextants most of the time. So most of the time they're like this, you know, your maps contain an additional pack of monsters that convert when killed, 16 uses. Having to remember to put on a 4-use one every so often is, like, the reason I use these is because I'm lazy, because I don't want to have to remember to put something on every 4 maps. I want to remember every 16 maps and only have to do it 6 or 7 times per 100. So I think the next time, I mean, it's a really good science experiment that we've done. I think it's really interesting that the Gilded Cartography Scarabs do affect it. And, you know, if you want to see more stuff like this, come and stop out by the Twitch channel. We're streaming on twitch.tv/lifewithoutpants. And you'll be able to see us doing science like this. I think the next thing I'm going to work on is, I mean, you know, selling these maps. or perhaps working on a AFK Blight farmer. I think that's quite interesting as well. I'm putting together a minion build. It's going so far. We haven't managed to do an AFK Blight yet. Or we've managed to do an AFK Blight in a map once. Tier 5. But it's getting there. We're going to get there. It's going to be, it's, you know, science takes lots of experimentation. So anyway, that's it from me. I really hope you enjoy this, and let me know if you have feedback. Please let me know in the comments down below what you think. To the guy that said, please stop making videos about these strats because you're leaking the strats. Can't stop, won't stop. And hey, Muzz. But that's it from me. Thanks very much. I hope you're kind to everyone you meet. I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.